E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Natural Health and Wellness. On Wednesdays, we cover mentoring our youth. And on Thursdays, our new show, Ideas Worth Knowing. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. To be able to watch our television show on your favorite device, please go to e360tv.com and download the app for your favorite device. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our hosts, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Leda.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Ideas Worth Knowing here on the Messages of Inspirational Stories. And I'm looking to see if Jim is in the studio, and it doesn't look like he is, but we'll just forge ahead. We are going to be talking today about something that probably a lot of you would be interested in, and that is, how do you go about getting a spot as a guest? There's Jim now. On a show like this, or any of the many other TV shows, radio shows, and podcasts. Hey, Jim.
Hey, how you doing? As usual, I had a little bit of a connection problem there with Mr. AT&T, formerly Mabel, and sorry about that. That's something that's above and beyond my control. So when things happen, ladies and gentlemen, you just take a deep breath, you smile, because everybody out there in TV land can fully understand. Yeah. When you're hot, and when you're not, you're not. I was going to put an S in front of that, but I'm not going to say that today because it's a beautiful day.
When you're not, you're still hot. It's just something else isn't.
But we are so thankful that we're brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com and ideasworthknowing.com. And let me tell you a little bit first about the 6-minute webinar. The 6-minute webinar enables you to communicate on the very one thing that your customer or client is looking at you to see if you can help them with their problem, their pain, or what they need. It's that simple. And that's what the 6-minute webinar does, all within 6 minutes or less, with an introduction, a body of clothes, and a call to action. Now we're going to get into our second sponsor, the good guys over at Ideas Worth Knowing. And we have a special a little complimentary gift for them, don't we, Emerson?
Yeah.
And I think Emerson's looking for that.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. If they go to our site, we have Mike, who's not with us here today, but Mike Lewis, as the publisher, has published over 800 best-selling authors' books, most of them having to do with business, different aspects of business for entrepreneurs or for, whatever, but not all of them. But you can go and spend $10, $20, $30, $40 for one of these books if you went to one of the big book retailers online. But he is making his publisher's copies of them available, and you get literally like a library card to be able to go in and you get your pick of the books that you want. So
you certainly can.
I encourage everybody to take advantage of that. If you have a small business, if you have a large business, if you work in a company, go and check it out. And for sure, get your books.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's kind of like a chicken soup series of books, isn't it, Emerson?
Well, yeah, we've talked about it kind of being like that, but there's the program that he's actually begun for people to be able to have. If you want to have a book, you can actually have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 books for what has traditionally been the cost for a single book to publish it.
Yeah.
If you are an author
Yeah.
and you want to publish, let's say that you have a company, or maybe you're a chiropractor or a doctor, or maybe you have a great cookbook,
Amen.
that's inside of you that you want to get out, or you want to tell the history of the women in your family. Anything like that, you could have an entire series of books for about what most publishers would charge you for a single book. That's what I think is worth knowing. That's that chicken soup kind of idea that Jim was talking about.
Yeah. And the thing I love about what Mike does, and ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely 110% brilliant. And I tell you, it just blew me away when he told me about it. He will contact you like on a Skype call. And of course, he'll send you information. So he's got information from you prior to the call. But from there, he generates an interview and you tell your story. And it's okay if you're like popcorn on a hot stove and you pop over here and, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And, oh, by the way, he takes all of that information, records it, and he actually translates it into a working document. And he actually cleans everything up, moves stuff around a chronological order, sends it to you, and boom, chicky boom, after you approve it, you have your book.
Yep.
That is pretty slick, because most people, I still got about 3 or 4 books in the workings at different stages, but
And I had a guy that I was in a mastermind with who spent over 8 years trying to create his first book. And once he did, it was Katie bar the door. And it's not necessary for it to take that long. Most people have it already inside of you. If you're at a party or at a networking event or something like that, and somebody says, well, tell me about you. Tell me about, hey, I'm looking for that kind of stuff. What should I look out for? Or what are the things that you would recommend? You could talk probably pretty extensively about it. And basically, that's how the book process works. Mike has just done it so many times that he knows how to pull it out of you. So if there is somebody that is watching that feels like that's something that I've always wanted to see done, is to get a book and to be able to have something that I could give to new patients, or so that I could give to prospects, anything like that. I encourage you to. I'm putting Mike's actual email address there on it. You can reach out to him directly and just let him know. This doesn't have anything to do with you being able to go get 10 books. You can do that and not want to write a book yourself. But for those of you who maybe say, a book would make the difference. When I was talking to a prospect, to say, here's a book I wrote on it. When you are talking to somebody in the media, to say, here's a copy of my book about this topic. About this area that you're focusing on. And I have found, no matter what size the media outlet is, whether they're a podcaster, whether they're a blogger, whether they're a local radio station, whether they are a national radio or TV station, satellite stations, that I have found that having that book in your hand, or having that book in their hand, or just being aware that you have a book, that opens a lot of those doors for you. And here's Jim. Jim's back.
I got kicked out with. I mean, AT&T. I got no idea. I really don't, and I've complained to them
You
several
got to
times.
stop saying bad things about AT&T, Jim, or they're going to keep kicking you out.
Maybe I made Ma Bell real mad at me. I don't know, but sincerely,
That's Ma Bell. For those of you, Ma, M-A, not
yeah,
Mob Bell. Although it may
yeah.
feel like it to poor Jim sometimes.
They've been mobbing up on me lately. But realistically, that book that Emerson was just talking about, think of it like little hinges that will open big doors. And that's a comment directly from W. Clement Stone.
Right.
And I love his attitude when he says, if you got nothing to lose, what do you do, Emerson, if you got
if you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by trying,
that's
by
it.
all means try.
There you go. There you go. Don't let fear stop you. And, Emerson, in talking about having a book and all that, and how that leads you to get into different interviews, I'd like to just say that make sure that when you get interviewed, whether it be on a radio show, a podcast, or a live streaming TV show like this, make sure that what you're going to talk about fits the theme of that show.
Oh, yeah.
And Emerson, you said it very well earlier as we were getting ready to go live. You said, if you're running, if you wrote a book on camping, or we were talking about if you wrote a book on your vacation, you would not be a good guest on a cooking show.
No,
because those themes
true.
Don't go together. And I'd like to just share one experience I had back in 2020, I believe it's 2020 or 2021, one of those years. A young lady by the name of Vanya Kusik called me, and she wanted me to be on her summit. And her summit was called Water Conservation and Rainwater Harvesting. And I said, I got to be honest with you. I don't have any experience in that area. I said, the only experience I've got is hollering at my kids when they were growing up, shut the water off and quit wasting it. That's water conservation. That's as far as I can help you. But she said, no, Jim, I really want you on there. And I kept thinking, well, I'm not really a good fit because I don't have any expertise in that area. Besides, I knew she was going to have her guest of honor was the king of Oman. So I didn't want to show up there and just on ego and make a knucklehead out of myself. And we kept talking, and I said, you know what? I says, I can create a presentation focused on neighbor helping neighbor to get their community into a better place. She says, Jim, that's perfect. So when she introduced me right out of the gate, I told them exactly what and I used the 6-minute webinar. I used this to opening just to be able to grab them. I said, ladies and gentlemen, during my presentation today, I'm going to share with you 3 proven ways that you can make your community a better place to live. And right there, that was my opening statement. So that right out of the gate, I didn't tell them I'm Jim Grant, I'm a TV host, producer, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm the other. So what? It's like Emerson taught me those 2 words. Every time you make a statement, ask yourself a question, so what? And yeah, I just went right into it because she'd already introduced me, and I thanked her and all that. But see, that is the value of what I was talking about earlier. People want to know why they should listen to you. And being on a TV show like Ideas Worth Knowing, my goodness gracious, with Mike and Emerson, oh, holy enchiladas. That's just like the cat's meow, because people that, tune into this program on Thursdays, they know what they're going to get. They're going to see subject matter experts who's going to share information with them that's valuable to them. That's the key, isn't it, Emerson?
It really is. And today, what we're going to be sharing is going to be, for those of you who have ever thought about or have wanted to be recognized or noticed by a medium, to have to be interviewed on a podcast or on a TV show like this one, or to be on a radio show, or have some type of print media reproduce information about you or what your focus or passion or, the specialties that you have. Today we're going to talk about some of that because Jim's done well over 300 shows, right, Jim?
Oh, about 750, not counting my radio shows.
Well, that's well over 300, Jim.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
That's well over 300 twice. So
it's 2 or 3 dozen.
Well over 300 and almost well over 300 again.
Yeah.
So interviewing people and hosting a show, you would think, wow, why would anybody ever, how do I get onto a show? Why would they want to have me on a show? What would I be able to bring to the show? Or why do they have that person on the show talking about this instead of me? I know more than them. And, the reality of it is, to use the old biblical admonition, you have not because you ask not often. Wouldn't you say, Jim?
Amen. You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. Because one of the things that Emerson is saying, everything's got to be congruent.
Yes. Because
when you come on any type of a show, regardless of what it is, whether it's a Zoom call or whatever it might be, I mean, it's not about this is who I am and this is what I got to sell. So what? No one cares because they don't know you. People want to get to know you. And I love some of the things that Emerson has taught me. And by the way, if you'd like to get in touch with Emerson or me here at the TV station, just email us there. You see on the marquee, inspiration@e360tv.com. But what really gets me what really impresses me about Emerson is that he talks about being congruent. And whether you're going to do an interview, whether you're going to, write a book, whether you're going to do a press release, everything's got to be consistent with your story because facts tell, stories sell. People want to buy into who you are. They want to know you, like you, and trust you before they even want to even do anything with you. Is that right?
They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Ooh, that's a good one. Say that again, brother. I'm going to take a sip of water here.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true.
Yeah, it really is.
And a Texan, I believe, is the one who coined that. And I think it was Mary Kay Ash.
I'll be doggone. I did not know that. Yeah, she was quite a lady.
I believe it was Mary Kay.
Yeah.
Herself who coined that one.
Yeah, I remember.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah. I remember, of course, Mary Kay was very famous with her cosmetics and giving her top distributors pink Cadillacs. And I knew a guy one time, his truck had broke down, had in the shop. And the only vehicle available was his wife's, I don't know if it was a company car, complimentary car, whatever, but it was the pink Cadillac from Mary Kay. And he had to drive it somewhere. And his buddies just, gave him a hard time. Of course, they're a bunch of old school, country boys. I mean, that comes with it, But he says, I'm never going to drive that car again because, man, they really got to me big time.
I tell you what, one of the funniest things to me was when Cadillac finally came out with their SUV, the Escalade.
Escalade, yeah.
The first time that I ever saw a pink Escalade, I said, oh, my goodness. Somehow it's like twice as high and twice as long.
And 3 times as pink.
And 3 times as pink, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, she was amazing, and she was brilliant.
She was.
And that's that saying of hers. There are a lot of things that she shared that I still rely on.
Oh yeah.
It's she had her does it work? Is it easy? Can I do it? Gosh,
there you go.
Such a good little mental checklist when we are talking about something that we're familiar with, that we know, but that's like this little mental checklist. Are we covering those things?
Yeah.
For somebody else who doesn't know as much as we may know about what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And the reality is a lot of people, it's mysterious, and maybe most people don't really even think about it when they are streaming a show, or when they're turn on the television or the radio, get into their car. Most people probably don't even think about it. It just kind of happens. There's somebody there that's talking, and somebody that's being interviewed, but there's that little area of mystery about it. And I think we can demystify some of that. If you do what Jim was saying, and you have a message that's congruent with whatever that outlet is. And by outlet, it can be, like I said, it could be a TV show like this. It could be a blog. It could be a radio show. It could be a podcast, which is similar, for those of you who don't know, to radio. It's just you're streaming it. It could be an article in a magazine or in a paper or on a website. So any of these different ways that you can get your message out gives you the platform to open the door up to many, 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 many more people. It's hard. It's hard to fathom for somebody who hasn't experienced it, Jim.
Yeah,
that
it
if
is.
you can be on a show that is reaching hundreds of thousands or millions of people like this show, and you can have, in this case, you can have an hour to be able to share the things that you know that will attract people to you, whether it's to, man, I'm going to go find that book, I'm going to go get that book, or I want them to do this for me. I think I need to talk to them before I make this decision. Whatever it is, I need to. You know what? They sound like they have a better program than who I'm using now, to be able to get your message out.
Yeah.
To hundreds of thousands or millions of people.
Oh yeah.
Is amazing.
Because people want to connect with people that they know, like, and trust. They got something in common. And that's why your cause, they don't care what you know until they know how much you care. That great comment by, the lady there, Mary Kay. I mean, I like that this came to my mind. We were talking about her. Think about all the lives that she changed for the better, just with one idea, one dream. What if you could change the life of one person? Think about that. That's how valuable you are. Don't shortchange yourself at all. And when you come on a show like a lot of people, I've had this said to me several times, you might say, people, oh goodness, being on TV and being seen on all those devices all around the world, I can't do it. I can't do it. I said, sure you can. Because just like Emerson and I demonstrate, and Mike demonstrates this, you simply look into the camera and you simply share what's on your heart, one-on-one with one person. That's all there is to it. It's that simple. And every single time,
well, in this case,
same people.
Jim, no,
go ahead.
What I was going to say is, in this case, you're not even looking at a camera. I'm basically, you're looking at my face and I'm looking at yours. It's just like we had a young guy on here a few weeks ago, Connor. Connor, who had his own business. And when he got off, the first thing he said, do you remember the first thing he said? He said, it felt like I was sitting in your living room when we were just talking.
Yeah, that's when that's what the host brings to the party.
That's it.
It really is. Yeah. And like right now, I'm looking at the little camera up there, the little dot them. And, that's all it is, because every single time people has told me that they were, kind of nervous or concerned and going to be on live stream TV and all that. After the interview was over, I said, wow, that was fun. And that's what it's all about. People want infotainment and people want to have fun. And, of course, you've seen me when things go wrong or, I say goofy things. We laugh about it because people love infotainment. They love to be infotained. They really do. And Emerson, I got a kick out of you on yesterday's show. I was having my issues, had to upgrade my, 5 hours. I upgraded my computer to the latest version, and that was a marathon. I had to go to another place because my internet problems. And anyway, but Emerson
I was having trouble logging in. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I'm on the phone with him, helping him there. But anyway, my point being, Emerson shows up, and I love it because he had his Pirates hat on, because that is one of his trademarks. That's what makes him unique, is his Pirates hat. And there it is. And tell the story on how that came about. The pirate hat adopted him. He did not adopt it.
That is true. That is true. There's a cruise that I go on every year called the Marketers Cruise. And there are between 300 or 400 or 500 marketers from all over the world on it. And every year they have a themed party. In the first year it was a I don't remember, it was like a costume theme. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I had been cruise captains with our sailing club, and so we had all of the accoutrement to be pirates. And so that's how we went. I said, I'm not going to go and pay money to get in a costume. We've got all of this stuff here. And we actually placed, I think we were third or so, second or third in the
costume
in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so but the next day people going, you were the pirate. Arg, ahoy there, matey, and all of that. And I thought, okay, that's kind of neat. So I started wearing the hat. The next year, when I'm checking into the hotel for the cruise, I had my hat on because I didn't want it to be crushed or anything. I had the hat on, and people are coming up going, you're the pirate. Arg, ahoy there, matey. Har, har, har. Yeah. Things like that. And I realized that even a year later, it was in their memory. And when you have 300 or 400, 500 people, they give you about a minute or 30 seconds, I think it is, to introduce yourself to the whole group on the first day at sea. But there's not a lot you can do to stand out in that many people in 30 seconds. But
not at all.
By using this, you could always find me by me hat. And so it grew from there, though, Jim, as I would speak all over the country. If I didn't have the hat on, people would say, well, where's your hat?
Yeah.
I started wearing the hat, even to events where people didn't know me. And it became an easy thing for people to find me by my hat. Yeah.
First time I met Emerson, I had never seen him before. I was attending a class that he was doing called Brand Response. He was instructing it. And we walk in, and I've told this story many times before. I'm not going to go into the actual conversation there. But we
do it again.
All right. Okay. We walk in, we sit down. It's 8:30 in the morning, and I'm just now enjoying a cup of coffee. And, when you're in a strange place and you've been living in a little motel and you're shuffling around, your energy level is not 100%. And I sat down there, and Emerson's up there on stage. He got that Pirates hat on. I'm thinking, oh, okay. I didn't know what to think. And he starts with the marketing. And he asked a question. The very first question when he just started asking a question. First question. He said, Jim. I look at him. He says, what's the first thing you want to accomplish in your marketing? I don't know. I guess attract as many people as you can. No, you want to repel everyone that you cannot help. And everybody's looking at me and I'm looking around. The only thing I could say, I said, well, it's obvious I need this class. You remember? Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
it really
true.
is.
And
And
that, you know, that leads. Go ahead.
yeah. I was just going to say that's why I said that statement about when I was on that summit with the King of Oman there, you know, about what my presentation was about, because that presentation, people who are wanting to know more, they will tune in. People that's not interested, you've given them an easy way to get out of there. And that's what Emerson's talking about. You want to repel the people you cannot help, or you got no rapport with, or they're not interested in it, what you're going to say or anything of that nature. Because it saves you a lot of time too, doesn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if so many businesses have this attitude of we want to get all we can and can all we get. You know, and so they measure how good their sales team is at closing and you know, really putting the hammer down on people. And the reality is that most of that is just a lot of wasted effort and energy if you're talking to the wrong people. And even if they close them and they're the wrong person, you're going to suffer for it. You're going to suffer for that. You know, you and your people. And you know, the idea, you know, I like to use the Oriental, the yin and the yang.
Oh, yin yang.
Yep, the yin and the yang, because we all have heard of the law of attraction. In fact, one of my clients that you know, for many years was one of the people that was really involved in the law of attraction, and he was in the movie The Secret and everything else. John Assaraf. And the thing is, the law of attraction is only half of that yin and yang idea, because there has to be a balance. And if this is all that you've got, it's out of balance. So there has to be a law of repulsion that's there too. Not being mean and ugly and, you know, that's not what I mean. When I say repulsion, if you can remember when, or if you are in the dating space in your life, you know, or remember when you were in that, you know, there's the old saying, Jim, you have to kiss a lot of frogs, you know. Well, the idea of just taking anybody and everybody that comes up to you isn't something most people would even think about doing. It's like they size them up, they size them down, and they write them off, or they say, well, let's you know, let's talk.
Right.
But businesses so often they just want more traffic. They want more traffic. They want more, and they're not really thinking about all of the time, the effort, the energy, the money that they're spending on every single person coming in the door, and not having the people that they need to be talking to, who are the people who say, man, where have you been? I have been, you have what I need. I like how you think. You know, I like the way you stand for your customers and this and that. And finding the right people in marketing is the same concept as when we are looking for people in our own personal life that we want to have a long-term mutually beneficial relationship with.
You're absolutely correct. And
consistency and congruency are the things that make that happen.
Yes. And that plays right into what we were talking about earlier about being congruent on all fronts. Because what Emerson is also saying there, your mission when you're on a show, being interviewed, in your daily life, in your business, your mission is to be able to communicate and attract the ideal clients that you can help, and most importantly, the ideal clients that you want. You want to work with people that know you, like you, and trust you. Go ahead, sir.
Yep. Know you, like you, trust you, forgive you when you screw up, because we all screw up, who send you endless referrals, who buy from you again and again. I mean, that's the kind of things that the business is looking for.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it's that long-term, mutually beneficial relationship of value and trust. Building,
Yes,
finding the people that you can build that relationship with is critical.
absolutely. It
And
really is.
when you're looking at the people that you've enjoyed working with the most, the
Mhm.
people that when the phone rings and you answer it, or you go, oh man, it's her, instead of, oh
Mhm.
gosh, not her. You know, that
Mhm.
that's who you're looking for, and finding those
Yeah.
people is important. In terms of looking at a podcast or a TV show, or
Mhm.
radio show, a blog, or some type of print outlet,
Mhm.
thinking about, first of all, who is the market that they are reaching, and in that market, is there a
Mhm.
value add that I can bring to that
Mm.
market where
Yeah.
their audience will appreciate them for
Mhm.
having me on their show, or having an article about
Mhm.
me, or having
Yeah.
a story about me. So
Oh, yeah.
putting them before you and making sure that what
Mhm.
you are going to be talking about matches. In marketing, we
Mhm.
call that the market match. Okay,
Mhm.
so finding
Yeah.
that match so that you are able to deliver a message, and the
Mhm.
feedback that they get is going to be, man, that was a great show. Wow, that was good.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, they really
Mhm.
had that. That was good information. I sure wish I had
Yeah.
heard about that 6 months ago. That kind of
Oh, yeah.
feedback.
Mhm. You're absolutely correct there, Emerson. That fits right into what I said earlier when the lady invited me to be on that summit.
Yes, it does.
I see. I knew from experience. My first responsibility is to make that event coordinator, that radio host, podcast host, TV host, make them look good to their audience.
Hmm.
That clears up a lot of the nonsense. Because I trust me when I say this, every single speaker that spoke during that 2 day summit talked about this is my name, this is what I've done, yada da 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 da. And I mean, so what? So what value would that provide to the audience out there? Absolutely nothing.
Hmm.
But when you start sharing why you're there, the presentation, and you start drawing them in because they need to buy into your philosophy, your story, what makes you makes you unique. That's the people you want to attract because that is the foundation where you'll get word of mouth referrals. And we all know word of mouth referrals that never cost you one thin dime. But you cannot afford not to have word of mouth referrals. Because if you're in that category, the latter category of not having word of mouth referrals, you are doing something very wrong in your business, and your business is heading into the dark side. And that's something
Well,
that you need to work on. That's why your story, your cause that's bigger than you, and what you're
mhm,
about that people buy in, that's money in the bank.
it is. When we're putting ourselves first,
Oh
and
yeah.
ourself could be our business,
Mhm.
how many business cards I got at the networking event, or whatever. But when we're
Mhm.
putting that as the first, what happens is we don't get the results we're really looking for. When we
Mhm.
put that secondary, and we are filling a need, now we start getting a, a feedback loop to us that really doesn't stop. I've had Well, I mentioned one of my clients here a few minutes ago. I've had as many as 25 or 30 direct referral clients from a single from a single other client in my career. I've had companies that have kept me on board for 54 months, taking them public and doing all sorts of things with them. So I mean, there's keeping that loop where you are giving. My mother used to always say, you can't outgive a giver. When you're in that kind of a loop, and that's the approach that you're taking, all of a sudden, a lot of those big doors swing on those small hinges, Jim.
It really does.
Really do.
And many times when someone has approached me wanting to be on the show, I send them just a little information that I need. And many times all they want to do is send me their bio. And the bio is all about them. That has no value to a host. All it does is give the host background information about you to pull out something during the conversation that could benefit the audience. And for example, Emerson, I think you've seen this before. I talk about, how to be able to, what is the theme? What are you going to be talking about? This has nothing to do with you. And then just give a short paragraph of the 5,000 foot level, if I could say. And then give, 5 or 6 key bullet points that you want to make. This is for the host's benefit to say, okay, we need to talk about this. We forgot about that, because in the interview with a friendly conversation flowing, it's easy to skip over some things. And then I asked them to give me 5 or 6 questions to ask that can enable me to keep the information flowing in without it bouncing around like popcorn on a hot stove. That's what the host needs. And with that information, you easily see about, how, well, I went to college here and I played football at and I was on track or whatever. That doesn't matter, because people out there want to know who you are. They want to connect with you. Your attitude going in is that I'm going to make a friend that I haven't met yet. And you're not going to make friends if you're telling them about. Go ahead.
Well, no.
Go ahead, sir.
You were about to say, if all you're going to do is talk about yourself, right?
Right.
Pretty much.
We've all been to parties where people get him. Yeah, we've all been to parties where people, get impressed and they want to talk about them. And well, I remember one time me and Don McGrath, we were out in Phoenix. This guy came up, started talking to us. Now we're getting in the line here, getting ready to get some refreshments because we haven't had anything to eat since lunch. Don and I, we've been on the road. We've been traveling. We get there, we're our tongues are hanging out like a hungry dog at a picnic. And I told him, I said, we need to get something to eat here. Told him that 3 different times, and he continued, blah, 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 talking about himself. I thought, and Don, I just turned to Don. I said, Don, I got to get some food here. I'm sorry. And Don, he's a very nice guy. I said, come on, Don, I hate to eat alone. And I had to pull him away because people don't want to hear about you. And another thing too, in conversations with people, this is a nicety to know. If I'm going looking at a car and I tell the salesperson there, I says, I really don't want a black interior, for example, because black is just everywhere. And it may be something that I just said. First time a professional salesman, okay, he said he didn't like a black interior. I better point out some of the other features of the car and put the black interior in the background. But if I bring it up again, he's going to, this may be an issue. But if the person brings it up the 3rd time, it's an issue. It's an issue. You can't, that's a good rule of thumb, isn't it, Emerson? Would you agree with that? Can you add to that?
Yeah. And woe be the salesman that they have they have a $500 spiff on a car that's a black car. That's the first one he takes you to, you know, because he's going to make extra money.
Yeah.
I want to hit a couple of points here before we wrap. We got about another 10 minutes here, 10 or 12 minutes. Yeah. And for those of you who may want to be on a show, and that could be a podcast, it could be this show, but it could be a podcast, or it could be a TV show, or it could be a radio station. It could even be print media. It could be a blogger, somebody who has a
huge following,
or they have an article in a local paper. Although we're losing a lot of those these days, but they're always looking for good content. And if you bring them good content, you will be shocked and amazed at the number of times that they will cover what you're doing. Jim loves to tell the story of a program I did with Walmart and with American Forest and with the VFW, where we got over 3,000 media pickups. These are newspaper articles, magazine articles, television, local, regional, and national television, radio, all over the country. It was tracked. It was measured. We had all of that. Why? Because we had a program that sparked. It was a program that mattered. It was a program that honored the veterans. It was a program that let a major corporation was giving to honor the veterans. And they were partnering with. So there's all of these different factors. What did we get out of it? Well, if I had sent them something that said, go to our website and order these trees, because we had these historic trees. That was one of the ways the American Forest made their, to fund it, their programs. If I said, go here I've gotten a few pickups on that, probably. Not pickup trucks, but pickups in the media. But what was the end result of us focusing? And it took us months to put this program together. This isn't a simple program. I'm giving an example here so you can get a kind of a 40,000 foot view. The end result was we literally crashed our servers, was knocking out our phones. Your national media was covering it everywhere. They did more from that one campaign than the entire previous year had been. Now, that's an extreme example. But the reason is what's important. And what Jim was talking about, the reason is because we didn't go there and say, hey, we're having a sale this week, or come buy these from us. Or aren't we wonderful with what No, we did something where we were giving and creating a program to give. And when we presented this to Walmart, they got it just like that. I mean, it didn't take them a New York second.
Emerson didn't have to explain it to them.
Yeah. The thing is, and they got every penny back that they put into it, So the thing is, how many people are knocking on the door trying to get Walmart to do business with them? How many people are trying to say Good Morning America or CNN or Fox or whoever to have you on, which I've had clients on all of those. So, I mean, it's not an issue with them not having people who want to be on their show. The issue is exactly what Jim was saying. What is in it for me? The me is them.
Yeah.
What's in it for me? The me is their audience. Yeah. They don't know you and they don't care about you. But if you've got that story, and if you've got that cause, and if you've got that spark, and you make it clear to them, this is what I'm going to be bringing to you, to your audience, to your people. There are thousands of podcasts and TV shows and radio shows, you name it.
Yeah.
And they're all looking for you.
Yeah.
If you step back and tell them what you're going to bring them.
Yes, yes. Because like Emerson is saying, just look at it from the reverse side. You're the editor of a magazine. And your job is to find good content for the subscribers. Whether it's online, in paper, it makes no difference. The principle is the same. And you're able to contact that editor and you're going to send them an article for their consideration. And this is all about you helping the youth in your community. You know, you came together and you helped these, you got other people involved. And then at the very, at the bottom part of that, 2/3 way down, that's where you talk, you put in there about, Judy or John owns, ABC painting company or something like that. And one of the things that they really enjoy doing, getting involved in their community, is being able to give back to the youth and all that. See, that's good content. Once you're able to cross that first bridge, the second bridge is easier because you've already been there.
Oh, yeah.
And you've established good rapport with that editor. So the next time you send them something, all they got to do is copy and paste. And the A team is calling. We're almost out of town. The A team is calling Emerson there. But that way they can copy, paste, and put their spin on it. And you make them look good. Remember what I said before about making the event coordinator or the radio host, TV host, whoever it might be, make them look good, their audience? That's what you do. That's what makes it valuable. And Emerson, he has the reputation, and he's a fantastic copywriter, is that whenever an editor sees something coming from Emerson Brantley, hey, this is a gift for me. Because he's going to make me look good in front of my subscribers, my audience out there, whether they're reading it on Word or whatever. I mean, that's just this is not hard.
And when I send them something, I've had more than one tell me, they don't have to do any editing on mine, which is huge. True. I mean, any of the stuff that Mike has published, I don't know, 6 or 8 or more books that either I have been a co-author in them or I wrote them. And Carolyn, his wife, said, I don't ever have to worry about yours when I go. She'll just labor hours going through and cleaning up and editing for so many people. And the thing is, if they have an extra spot or an extra publication or something, they call me. Millionaire Magazine. The editor of the editor and publisher of Millionaire Magazine said, yours is you're the only one that I don't have to worry about. Because I'd call them up and say, was it okay? Do I need to add anything? Did I miss something? Would you like me to cover something? Look, I don't ever have to worry about yours.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what? That matters. That means people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if I'm doing something that's trying to help that publisher, that producer, that blog post owner, that podcast owner, if I'm doing something and I'm taking the time to make it good for them, people remember that.
Oh yeah, you make their job easier. They're not going to forget you. You're going to be a welcome sight in their eyes. And Emerson did a press release on me on a project that I'm doing on small towns. And it got published on a Tuesday. And on Thursday, it went on, got published out there, the press release on the, what was it? What's the name of the press wire? I can't remember the name of it, the original one. Anyway, whatever it got published on.
I'd have to.
Yeah. That thing got picked up by over 370 something outlets. And when Emerson says it's measurable, he sent me the email. And guess what? In the email, I had a PDF there, and I had all those icons there. You could click on those icons, and it would
actually see it.
Take you directly. Actually see it. That is something we're going to build on with press releases, because that opens the door already to that particular editor there. Yes. And they already know you a little bit, and you can start building rapport, and you can start, oh, goodness gracious. I mean, this is not hard, folks. This is not hard. It really isn't. And the things we've shared on this show today, I can guarantee you have to look far and wide to even come.
Well, it's not hard because I make it look easy.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, yeah, it'd be hard to find the content that we put on this show right here.
Times over the years, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh
you get
yeah.
What you know. You get where you know. It's yeah. They throw away. That's a wonderful. They throw away probably 9 out of every 10 that they get, if not more, because they're not,
most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are more focused on this is who I am, this is what I do, you know. And so what? Ask that question, so what? That brings it right down to earth. And I've asked myself that question many times because it's a reality check. Yeah. Well, Emerson, we're closing in on the finishing minute here, and we're almost out of time, brother. We are out of time. But on behalf of Emerson and myself, and of course, Mike is not being able to be with us today. Mike, we hope you're back real soon, brother. Thinking about you. We know you're watching the show, so we hope that we made you look good, brother. How about that? But most importantly, thank you so much for tuning in today, ladies and gentlemen. We sincerely hope that you and your loved ones are healthy, happy, and blessed in all areas of your life. And be sure and go to our YouTube channel, Messages of Inspirational Stories. Click on the live and share the YouTube link of this great show with someone else that you know could benefit from it. That's one way you can bless them, and you'll be blessed as we go further down the road. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.